Hello, everyone. How are you all doing today? If I could stop opening every goddamn thing. Hurrah! How's everyone doing today? How's everyone doing today? Oh, you are joking. It's really not going to want to load, is it? I love it when the thumbnail doesn't work first time, and then it looks terrible when you share it. Because YouTube's a good site, and it works at times. Who's Marcel and why is he joined? Go away. First time I've had to kick someone with this new lobby system, I'm gonna be honest. Not to do in a while. Anyway. Brian is like, oh, is everyone here? Stream's not up, mate. And neither's the fucking thumbnail! And there goes the swear word of the weekend. Just like that. Never said ready up, Matt. I never said ready, but okay, Brian, please stop. Please stop trying to control. Right, just trying to sort out some final problems of putting the stream out where it needs to be, yada yada yada. Anyway. 14-man grid, a few people making their debut today. Gonna make sure everyone's ready. And we'll be ready to get going. Thumbnail is up, okay, thumbnail's up, but where I've shared it, it will now look terrible, and yeah. Anyway, Division 1. Whilst everyone's agreeing, let's get all of everything that needs to be up because I still haven't done that. It's a bit of damage there for Vaseline Cock. He's complaining that his Audi's not up to scratch, so it's not going to look good for him today, I must say. I don't ping everyone for no reason. Please check Discord if you think the stream's not up, because it's very much up. Oh, Vaseline Cock all bent out of shape there. Let's go make sure no one's backed out, because if anyone's backed out, gonna have a problem. 14 drivers here. All with one goal to win. Who actually will win? Well, that's up for debate. It's most likely Ruben. Anyway. There's a few people on medium C. Bobby, OTBC, JD. JD with the strategy man when he's on. When he's on something, it's normally right. Everyone was there coming out of the pit lane. Are we all okay leaving? Just the usual suspects. Tim's on the mediums. Casey got his first points this season yesterday in Div 2, and that pitman at the bottom looks a bit fat. Just Tim and Ento waiting to leave. Ruben out earlier than he normally is, leaving everyone some space, but just wants to make sure he's got enough time as possible as he crawls around. He'll be soon getting some heat into those tyres. Up at the front, it looks like JD's out first. Brian's apologising to Philo. And we come up to the third. We'll soon get the idea of where everyone is relatively. I think JD is leaving this train, though. There's DJ filling in over at Motorsport West again. Brilliant outing last time, I must say, by DJ. DJ performed brilliantly on his debut. Dino Rod, he needs a good result. He had a solid result out in Bathurst, especially with his qualifying, and it then went downhill. JD letting the faster cars through, will be into the pits anyway, unless he's actually wanting to qualify means, which should be a bit weird. JM Devil, I must say, JM Devil, Maggior, I don't know what that strategy is. There's a bit of squabbling going around with Bobby there. Bobby and Philo making their debut. Bobby filling in over at the Shadime Racing, and that is a very colourful Nissan GTR there by JD. And Bobby's now driving for BNR as Lee has backed out due to a broken rib. Get well soon, Lee, we wish the best for you. Anyway, round the final turn, DJ will be out first then. He won't have the benefit of the slipstream, but Don Roddy's very close to the back of Bobby as we ride on board with him down towards turn 1. That Corvette in the slipstream, not really having the pace though. The straight line speed's not the best. But anyway, the number 96 Corvette for ART. Don Roddy, the only person to score points for that team so far. ART lacking a lot in terms of the team's standings as they come through the Mercedes arena and around turn 4. Maximising the track limits, going as wide as possible. If you do go onto that green stuff on the second part where it rejoins from the Nurburgring track, that's normally where you'll get yourself a penalty. Through turn 5 and 6, the Ford corner for no reason. Online Kreutzer, he's back. It was Mr. Osaka who was here last time. I was on Cruise that was out last time, and now it's Mr. Osaka. Mr. Osaka's had 2 brilliant qualifying performances in recent times, and now he's not here. He won't be able to continue it for his home race. DJ, though, will be looking to do the team proud after a brilliant debut. Down the order, Philo on debut. Casey, points yesterday in the Division 2 races he was filling over at BRT. He will be happy with that. First points of the season. It's taken him a while. He's done a few races in Div 2 and done all the Div 1 races. Not the best. Brian, he's always there or thereabouts. He's going to need to scran some points today. He's not in a fair bit. 9th seems to be his comfort place, but if there's any DNFs ahead of him, he'll be enjoying that. Vaseline Cox, another person who needs to get some points, but also needs solid qualifying, but that Audi R8 choice really hasn't been a good one. NRT Bobby, he's on an outlap, so he will have pitted for the mediums, and then further down the order there's OTBC taking a trip to the gravel trap down at turn 8, and then everyone who just pitted. Ento, he's actually on a flyer as he started on the softs, but up towards the line. The DJ provisional pole, then it's a 154.5. These are very slow laps, a 54.4 for Devil. Kreutzer's gone 4th of a 54.4. KC 5th, 55.7, 54.8 for Kmart. Brian puts him 4th. JM Devil, though, provisional pole with a 54.4, so it's very close actually. A second roundabouts. Vaseline Cock goes 8th, that's a solo lap of 57.7. Now we've seen faster by Div 2 and Div 3 up at the front, but the battle at the front's actually quite close, so we may be in for an exciting qualifying session here until Ruben decides to rock up. If you remember, Ento going 7th from a 56.0, so maybe he's been a bit impeded. He got 2nd last time out. Ruben into the pits, so Ruben is doing his normal strategy of burn as much fuel as possible. Tim round the final turn start his flying lap. There's OTBC behind as well, so the Canon boys like to start on the mediums, and it's a strategy that works. That's not what OTBC's gonna want out of the final turn though. 15 turns around. There are big power slides going to affect his straight line speed down towards turn 1. Who's that in the pits? Vasselin Cox jumped straight back to the pit lane. That might actually be why Vasselin Cox got qualifying problems, as he doesn't have the lighter car that everyone else has because he's jumping back to the pit lane. Less than a tenth though is the gap Devil has so far after the first lap of qualifying. DJ provisionally second, and Dynarod and Brian a surprise second row so far. Ruben yet to go. So far the way qualifying has gone, I can't really imagine OTBC and Tim having their race pace is normally a lot better than their quali pace. Devil is in, so I was about to say, Brian's going to keep going though, so nope, just takes out the curb cases in. JD's in, so JD's been on the mediums. So was JD's first lap on the mediums then? He'll have, if it was, that will explain why it's 2.1 seconds off, and he'll have to have another lap to go again. NRT Bobby is going to be coming around final turn. This is his first flying lap, and he won't be able to get in pit and then have another lap then, so he'll just have to go. He'll be able to get 2 more laps out of this, but Bobby, provisional pole then, it's a 154.3, that is a quick clap by him. Philo up towards the line, he starts his lap, he hasn't actually set one yet, so maybe there was a penalty for track limits, and he's now going to be finding himself coming out in traffic because he has to take a wide line, and Philo really impeded there. Now if it was a penalty on his lap, which will explain why a 155.7 isn't allowed, so that'll be for things like corner cutting, as Brian's doing a Kimi Räikkönen a bit lost there in the background. Tim, that's a good lap by Tim, puts him 8th, and who's yet to actually set a lap? OTBC, that puts him 12th, and it's just Ruben who's on an out lap, and he may be into the pits again. It'll be a close one if he is, but he may be going for one more lap. You can see trying to burn as much fuel as possible, and Philo, whose last lap was disallowed, so he did burn a lot of... He would have burnt his tyres up a slight bit there, so they are going to be damaged. They're not going to be fresh tyres, and they are going to be damaged. Oh, sorry. They're not going to be fresh tyres, and he is coming out in traffic as well, so this has not worked that well for Philo on his debut. Maybe the pressure's on him, but he will get a bit of this toe up towards turn 10 by Online Kreuzer, but then negotiating through 11. There's going to be a bit of traffic, and I don't think he may not even be aware that Philo, despite this though, provisional, he's 3 tenths up, as he will be coming towards the line. There's his teammate giving him a bit of a tow, so maybe all this traffic's actually been quite helpful, as he's had a tow through most of the lap. Make sure he doesn't get a penalty through the final turn, and now it looks clean through that chicane up towards the final turn. They're going to have to really nail the apex there. Seems a bit wide. Swoops in though, solid exit. Max Wasing track limits up towards the line. He does go provisional top then by 3 tenths, as everyone else now starts their final lap. The Season 1 champion, JM Devil, is currently running 3rd. Dynarod and Brian have been knocked down. They're people who have had a noticeably good qualifying so far. 8 tenths off provisional pole, was half a tenth, or was half second before then. Not bad. DJ, he's only half second off qualifying, easily able to find it round here. And I'm surprised I've not seen anyone dip into the 133s. Tim, he improves, he will stay 9th. Ento will come around the final turn, start his final lap. Oh, who's that in the background? That's OTBC, he's currently dead last, and that is probably going to really impede his qualifying lap. But here's Ruben on his flying lap. We won't get a split time, so it's going to be a big surprise. He'll be able to get one more lap, and as well as he clobbers the curbs of the chicane at 13 and 14, up towards turn 15, then the final turn, the hairpin. Round he goes, then up towards the line. It's a beautiful exit in the Mitsubishi up towards the line. It's looking quick for Ruben. He goes top by 7 tenths, so Ruben provisional pole for 153.3. After I was looking quite close, and I'll see Bobby's qualifying will be done, as that second penalty will really hamper him. Who else is on a lap? That's Dynarod into the pit, so Dynarod's qualifying's done, so Dynarod might be looking to start on the mediums. And yes, there goes on the mediums. Who else? DJ, he's coming around the final turn, so he'll be the first to set his final lap, and it's looking good by DJ up towards the line. He won't improve. Devil round final turn. Season 1 champion for NDC up towards the line. Will he improve? He does. He goes third. That's Bobby in the background. He won't be improving. Philo, he's second up towards the line. He improves and extends his gap. JD, where is he? He's still outside the top 8. Casey improves. He stays 8th. Brian improves into 5th with a 154.5. So he improves. And who else is coming down further back? There's a few people who was able to get one more lap out. Dynarod, this is an out lap for him, I believe. So yes, it's an out lap for Dynarod, so he'll be just getting used to the time, or getting used to the track on these tyres. Tim, he improves. Who else is coming around this final turn? Tim's down in 10th. We can't quite see. Ento improves into the top 8 over 155.3. But this man here, pole again for Ruben. He's not been beaten in qualifying so far. Vasilinkov, he'll improve, but he'll be starting down in 13th, I believe. Yes. JD, it's a poor qualifying from him, down in 12th. Tim, he's starting on mediums. His race pace is good. Now, JD as well, he's someone that could actually do well. He's starting on mediums, it seems. His strategy can do a lot better things. Ruben around final turn. This is not going to challenge it, but it's won't change the time, but it's still pole. 153.3 is the pole time here then at the Nurburgring, set by Ruben by nearly 3 tenths to 27,000 or 2700th. Phil on his debut after what was looking like a sketchy lap time. Does put on the front row on debut. JM Devil in 3rd, so he's got some traffic to beat up. He will be happy though that Ento's down in 8th and won't be able to help his team like he has been able to do in the past few rounds. Devil really will be wishing that Vasilinkov will be up there to help him. Came on Brian though's the shocker. And NRT Bobby in his debut is 4th, but Brian 5th in qualifying. Might be looking good round here for the BNR boys. So then, the grid for round 5, it's Ruben on pole for the 5th time this season, followed by Philo on debut, then JM Devil looking to bounce back from a shocking race there at Maggiore in 3rd. NRT Bobby and Brian 4th and 5th for BNR. 6th for DJ as he's filling in for Mr. Osaka at Motorsport West. 7th for Dynarod, one of his best qualifying of the season, other than Bathurst Race 1, and Ento in 8th. The lights are coming on then, let's see who's going to have the best start. We are racing at the Nurburgring then for round 5 of the GTEL Division 1 Championship. It's a very good start by Devil. He's one that's not had the best of starts, but DJ down towards turn 1. He's had an absolute flyer of a start then down towards turn 1. Brian as well, he's looking to make a gap. There's a bit of contact at the back, but DJ's going to find his way up into 2nd, it seems there. Casey, he's fallen down the order. Vasilinkov had a good start as well, got himself up into 9th in the background there, but Phil's going to tuck into the back of DJ, and Dell's also trying to find his way through as he's fallen back. Ento's got himself up into 5th, Brian's gone down, and so has Bobby, as Bobby trying to force his way through on his teammate Casey on the inside line through turn 3, and Brian's falling back. Casey's into the points so far. Online Croix has fallen back. There's a bit of chaos at the back. That's Dino already, you can see, he's been caught up in a mess, and he's with the Can-Ams at the back. Ento's going through onto Devil. He's now got himself in 4th, just as we were saying that Ento wouldn't be there to help his teammate. Well, he's now got past Devil, so Devil may have a bit of problem. Bobby, he's fallen down to 7th from 4th. As Online Croix also looking for a move on to Casey. Casey's going to have the inside line. No, sorry, it's going to have the outside line, but Casey is ahead. It's going to leave Online Croix of space. Out the outside, but I think Casey will be able to get the power on. It's a brilliant defending there by Casey. JD's got a place on Vasilinkov. He's now up into 10th. He started 12th. Came O'Brien under pressure from his teammate. NRT Bobby trying to make a move on to Ento as we run up towards what was nicknamed Gunstone Curve, aka turn 10 and 11. That's Devil getting all sorts of out of shape there as he runs across the curb. And who's that who's got a penalty further back? That's Ento with first penalty for the race from half second. DJ not letting Ruben pull away here, so would have expected it to be a battle between Devil and Ruben. But DJ then goes into the lead then down at turn 13. Now DJ's clearly not an expert, and this is what Ruben will be wanting to do. If Philo can keep him honest and keep the pressure on as well. These guys seemingly having the pace to keep up. DJ very close in qualifying. There's a bit of WTFing going on in the background, but with a nice slipstream train as Ruben's not pulled away as we would have maybe expected. Brian's going defensive from Ento as Ento tries to make his way up the field as he'll be wanting to help his teammate. Brian's going to have the inside line, but Ruben, will he have the grip on the outside to try and power his way through? He's going to have the inside line into turn 2, and Bobby might be able to fancy himself a move onto his teammate as well if he can get close enough, but enter with that move safely done. Up the front though, this is what Ruben will want to be doing, because now it's going to be able to fuel save massively as Devil's squabbling with Philo on debuts. Devil's now got himself back up into 3rd, Brian back up into 5th as well. Brian, Ento and Bobby, the battle for 5th. Casey's further back in 8th. If these lot squabble, he might be able to get himself up and try and fight for some solid points. But in the background as well, you can see Mr. Osaka, JD and Dynarod side by side down towards turn 8 then. Brian's going to be the inside line, going to be able to take 5th back as Ento doing a bit of sliding, and now with the half-second penalty as well, he's got Bobby might find himself a nice run. How on earth is Ruben not leading? DJ's really quick. As I was just saying, as the chaos calms down, Ruben may have let him through. Ruben didn't really fight as much, and this is what this is only his 2nd race here at GTEL. May not know, but Ruben likes to sit behind people and likes to fuel save. This is how Ruben's able to pull off strategies like a 1-stop or a unique sort of 2-stop. Very different. Ruben will more than happily sit and let DJ lead, and that's not what DJ should be doing, because this will basically feed Ruben the lead. But in fact, DJ's best option now is to try and back it up into Devil, Philo, and maybe even Brian. DJ should, if you look, the gap, Ruben should easily be able to get it, but look, Ruben is losing on the straight. You can see the top right, he's losing time at the straight. That means he is probably got it down in 6th, and he's just using the slipstream to carry himself through the turn. A bit of a mistake there though as he goes a bit deep, but Ruben will know how to pace. If he wants to keep up, he will keep up. But DJ should really think about parking the bus a bit, maybe forcing Ruben to go through, or backing the field up into Devil, into Philo, and Brian and the chase group. You don't really want to let Ento through, because then Ento can try and take lead and try and speed it up again. But it's you have to think about it. There's so many different teams here. There's 2 SVVs and 2 B&Rs. They're the only teams that actually have 2 cars in the top 8. But probably if DJ does back up, can help benefit Ruben. As look already, there's a massive fuel difference between everyone and then Ruben. Because this is what Ruben's doing. Ruben is just going to sit back and he's going to let DJ lead. And DJ may have some confidence now, but he doesn't know Ruben's tactic, and it's quite obvious as down the straights, Ruben is losing massively, but he gains through the corners, and he's fuel saving, and he's able to keep up. And Ruben in the pits then will start gaining seconds, not 10th seconds, like 10 seconds he'll come out with the lead in the pits if it starts going like this. So DJ really does have to start backing up into Devil, into Philo, try and get a nice train going. Philo's actually on the mediums, that's something to take note of. Ruben's on the soft, Devil's on softs, Philo medium, softs for Brian, softs for Ento, mediums for Bobby, that's interesting. Softs for Casey, softs for Cruiser, mediums for JD, mediums for Dynarod. Dynarod's got a bit of red damage, that might have happened at the turn on the lap 1 incident, where he dropped down the order. Remember, he qualified quite well and he's falling down the order. Personal best lap for him. It's mediums for both cams, I believe. Tim on mediums, OTBC on mediums as he's sliding out the final turn, and Vastenkok on mediums. So a healthy mix here. And the gap between Ruben and Devil is around about a second, so DJ is maybe pushing a bit too much, because he's burning fuel and he's just chauffeuring Ruben here. He's doing the job of a teammate. Whoever's the leader is Ruben's second teammate. That's the way it always seems to be. And this is how Ruben wins, because Ruben's smart with it. And now people that race Ruben need to start using their brain and stop letting him lead. People need to do what Ruben does and just sit behind. But no one does that. People want to lead. It's an hour-long race. It's not a sprint race. If I can guarantee if it was a 5-lap sprint race, Ruben wouldn't be sitting here. Ruben would be flooring it and ditching everyone. But people need to start doing what Ruben does. Don't let Ruben through, or don't go through Ruben. Don't let Ruben let you through. If Ruben's goes easy into a heavy braking zone, lets you through, don't do it. Let him go through. Park the bus. You know, if an accident's caused, you can then say that's Ruben who broke early, which caused me to brake early. Don't chauffeur Ruben. And Dell's not massively in the slipstream where he can benefit from Ruben up ahead, as he's also fuel saving a bit. The fuel isn't far off, but Devil wasn't the second fastest guy in qualifying. Wasn't the fastest guy, it was third. Devil got third in qualifying, so he's not even the second best to Ruben. 4 laps down though here at the Nurburgring for Division 1, the last race of the weekend. And after a nice start, the field starts to thin out a bit. Brian running with his best result in the season, I believe, so far. Bobby on his debut, coming under pressure from Casey down towards turn 1 as well. It's interesting. A bit of news as well for those who don't know. There's a test event on Thursday. I don't believe it will be streamed. Join our Discord though, because people might be doing personal streams. They are testing multi-class events with LMP1, LMP2 and GT3 cars. The LMP2 cars are quite genius. I must say, someone had an idea. We had a survey on our Discord so people could share their ideas and express opinions and what they thought should happen anonymously without consequence. And it was a good idea. Use the old LMP1 cars, so we've gone with the 2010 Peugeot and add more weight and less power to make it an LMP2 car. And we'll be testing multi-class racing with driver swaps. So that will be a bit of the driver swaps will be a bit of a test and practice for the Nurburgring. DJ though, let's Ruben through. Let's see, can we find out where that happened? And oh, I don't know, maybe DJ made a mistake, or maybe someone got onto DJ and now let him through, and then they went through. But Ruben now, maybe let's have a look at Ruben clobbering over the curbs. He's now starting to bridge a bit of a gap, so maybe Ruben's trying to build some excess fuel here. Ah, Ruben, Hayden then being a bit of a team boss. But I think now Ruben may know that idea and is starting to put his foot down a bit as he's bridging a gap nearly out of slipstream range. Ruben has that excess fuel, but DJ already, he's a quarter of a tank down on Ruben, which is really not good. So in the pits, DJ's going to be under pressure from Devil and Philo maybe. Philo's on the medium, so Philo may be going a bit longer anyway. Further back, Brian's got a half-second penalty. Ento's got a half-second penalty. Ento picked up on lap 1. Casey very close to the back of Bobby. Bit of tyre screeching going. Casey seems to almost definitely be the faster of the drivers. Maybe Casey trying to do a bit of fuel saving. All sorts of sideways there. Very shaky on the exit of turn 4. Casey's on the softs. If Casey's trying to fuel save, this isn't what he wants to be doing. Casey's getting himself stuck behind the guy on mediums. Casey needs to maximise. You can see there, Casey's so slow out of the corners trying to follow Bobby, and Casey really needs to get his move on and pass Bobby. Someone needs to be relaying to Casey that Bobby is on a different strategy to him, and following him won't work, because Casey's being held up here. Casey doesn't want to maximise his soft stint where he's meant to be a lot quicker and then get beaten by the guy in the mediums. Because ideally, everyone starting on the softs should finish ahead of the people on the mediums when it comes to the pits, and then when it swaps around, the people who then on the mediums will gain that time back, and then the gap goes up and further ahead. We've just seen that down at turn 12. Ento's trying to force his way through Brian a bit there. Brian, you see, got a tiny bit of his penalty off, not much, and he will just let Ento through, and Ento may have actually cut the corner there down at turn 13, so we will have to see. Brian took into slipstream, and now both of these drivers, Ento and Brian, so far they're on the same opening stint strategy, and Brian might be able to get some benefit in the back of Ento and maybe close the gap down to Philo. Brian a bit lower on fuel as he goes deep into turn 1, not taking into account the slipstream and the extra speed he would have had into turn 1. 3 seconds as the gap at the front, then as Ruben's now started to open it out. And last lap was the fastest lap of the race with a 1:53.6. DJ starting to struggle a bit as he's now dropped down to third, as he's going to tuck into the back of Devil as he looks to move down in towards turn 5. Can't quite get it done, but if these two start squabbling, 3 seconds behind them is Philo, and he's not far off. Ento's going to want to get his foot down as well, try and catch up and score some more solid points for SVV, as I do believe they lead the championship. Cam O'Brien, he's now falling right off the back of Ento. Did Brian serve? No, Brian hasn't got rid of his penalty, so I don't know what Brian's doing. So Brian may be struggling as well on the tyres. We're only 13 minutes in and people are now losing out. Casey's struggling. Is he fuel saving? I can't quite tell if he's fuel saving. He definitely should be passing him though. We saw a few laps ago, he was definitely the quicker guy. Last lap, if we compare the last laps, Bobby was 3/10 faster, but their fastest lap is Casey. Casey's definitely the faster guy on the softs, and we saw that when Casey did close the gap down, as there was a bit of a gap between these, as Bobby was actually on the back of the Brian Ento battle. But now that seems to have fallen off a bit. Casey took the into slipstream, hoping that the power of the Toyota's enough to carry him in towards turn 1. Sadly not. Didn't look for a late lunge there. The door was open by the British driver. DJ a bit wide on the exit of 4. He's going to bring a bit of dirt onto his tyres, and he's going to give Devil a bit of breathing room in towards turn 6. Into turn 5, sorry, which has been a common overtaking as well. I think turn 6 may have actually seen more overtakes than turn 1 has, which would be interesting. So the hairpin, probably the best overtaking spot. Hairpins are what's seen as the best chance for overtaking, so that's down on turn 1 and turn 8. I think we've seen more action down at turn 5 and turn 10. Sorry, and turn 11, and they're both 90-degree turns, which aren't really favoured upon, but they're enough to let people, they're enough for people to find their way through. Philo, the gap staying around about the same between him and the top 3. He's 8 seconds off the lead. He's the best debut driver here. Bobby did have that spot at the start. Also, no, it was Philo, because Philo was second, and Bobby's falling down the order. The biggest gainers from the start, though. Devil's up a position. DJ is up a position, I think. Ento's up a few. Ento started 8th. He's now up in 5th. Casey's up a few. Bobby's down 1. Sorry, Bobby's down 3. Brian's down 1. That's also Bobby into the pits then. Bobby in early on the mediums. This is what we saw from Mamba Strike yesterday. Maybe the B&R's doing a bit of a split strategy and seeing what they can gain here. Bobby's not gaining any time, so he may as well go for something. JD's up some positions. Dino's had the worst of it as he's fallen right down the order, and Vasilinkok is in last. Vasilinkok's 14th, so Vasilinkok's fallen the furthest down. There was also bridging a bit of a gap, but that may be because he got a half-second slowdown penalty, so he may have been cutting the corner a bit there. So that could potentially explain why he's got the no-no one. There's a nice graphic I completely forgot you could do as well. Forgot if you press this button it would show the German helmet for for DJ. You can see the helmets, but they're not actually the helmets they're using. Ento not having his helmet shown. I completely forgot that this is a graphic you could even show. Casey's up in 7th due to the pit stop of Bobby, and Bobby's come out in 12th, but he does have a 5-second gap to Tim, but he's gone onto the softs. So Bobby the first to not be under any threat of a disqualification then. Remember, there are different compounds of you will be disqualified. So it's common for people to go soft and mediums. think only one person I can remember has actually used the hard tyres. And that day actually worked out really well for them. That was PX4 Gaming at Bathurst. He went medium, or he went hard than medium. And that strategy actually gained him 3 places in the race. So he was able to one-stop that day, I believe, and gain some solid positions. Surprised no one in Div 1's really attempted that strategy. Maybe we should ban Ruben from using the softs and see how that works out. Next season, though, I do believe there's new tyre rules coming into place. NRT Bobby, on his car, I've just realised I may have to... yeah. Well, there's the Auto 24ing as everyone else coming to the pit stop. JD, he's in early as well, so maybe JD's taken an art of Mamba Strike's book from yesterday. But if you look down into a turn 1, auto24.ee, that is a racetrack in Estonia that Bobby has on his cars because Brian's Estonian. That's probably why. But people pitting JD, he's out. Who else pitted with JD? JD's onto the soft, so you can count him for using both sets of tyres. There was someone else that pitted as well. Let's try and find... It was Philo, so maybe Philo's also taken a note out of what Mamstrike did and everyone going for the free stop. Dynarod's going to have his aerodynamics impacted a bit, but he's onto the back of Online Kreutzer. The 2-second penalty though, these corner cuts may not be doing him any favours. He's starting on the mediums, trying to go a bit longer maybe, but he's only got around about 5 minutes left of fuel depending on how he fuel saves it. But that rear damage you can see in the bottom left of your screen, that flashing red is where he's got damage on his car. That isn't good. OTBC, he's into the pit lane. The number 22 Nissan for Can-Am will drop down the order. Can-Am's past couple of races have actually been solid. They've been able to get, they got a podium at Suzuka. They got a double points in Suzuka, double points finished, but now we're starting to fall off a bit again. But OTBC started on the mediums, gone onto the soft, so people getting on the mediums, we've seen it be a solid strategy. He's having to slow right down, though that's going to cost him a good few seconds to let DJ through because of blue flags. OTBC 20 minutes into the race, already a lap down. Not a good start, but that was with people yet to stop, and he'll probably jump from in the pit lane. But fresh tires also well, if he can get onto the back of him using the Toyota faster cars, might be helpful as everyone else ahead is seeing a few more pit stops. Kane O'Brien's into pits, he's the first of the soft runners to stop. Everyone on the medium seems to be doing what Mamba Strike did, maybe going a bit longer. Soft's not looking too good, and Brian, he's out with not as much fuel in the tank as we expected. Brian's not full tanked it, there's Dynarod into the pits as well, and Tim. So the medium runners actually the ones pitting early, when the mediums here seemingly so much better than the softs, and there's a big range of strategy. Now if you're looking at Brian's softs, they were completely done, and that's only 20 minutes in. Dynarod, he's onto the softs though. Tim getting the front bumper damage off, that'll only be a 2-second stop, and he is out on the softs as well. So Tim, Dynarod, and that might be Brian as well. Let's have a look, Brian onto medium, so Brian as well. 7 cars, half the grid, already used both sets of tyres up at the front. Ento's got himself into 4th, Casey's moved up into 5th, but look how much the softs are gone. So if he was trying to go long, surely the softs would actually be the better, surely the mediums, or if he was going short, surely he would start on these softs, and then do the slightly longer stint that we saw from Mamba Strike on the mediums. But it's interesting to see what everyone does. DJ's into the pit as he's red lighted it. He comes in 3% of fuel, so he was trying to itch it out as long as possible. Devil and Ento also into the pit, so 3 Germans into the German pit lane at once. And the biggest gain here will be Ento as he has the most amount of fuel in his car. Only by 1% though, as Devil is on 22, Ento's on 23, but 3% of fuel by DJ. He's going to lose out big time to Devil here as he was actually battling with Devil and he was falling into the grasp of Ento, and this might not help his chances. This will quite hurt him in all honesty. And this is what happens when you lead Ruben. That's who else has just pitted there and come out onto mediums. Devil out then onto Devil out in 4th place onto mediums. Philo's pitted and got the jump on Devil, so that The undercut has worked there by Philo. Philo pitted early, but he has gone onto the softs, so he'll be doing softs later. Devil, he's on the mediums though. Bit shaky at the rear. Ento, he's on mediums after starting on the softs. DJ, he's also gone to medium. So DJ and Ento, add them to your list of drivers that have used both sets of tyres. 4 more to go. Ruben, Casey, Philo. So no, Ruben, Casey, Bobby. No, Bobby started on medium, sorry. Ruben, Casey. As we look down the order, Online Kreutzer, he's done them as well. Vaslincock, he's started on the mediums. He's yet to pit. OTBC, he's out in 14th. He'll surely jump Vaslincock in the pit lane though. So just looking through JD, we've got him as people that have used both sets. So 11 people. Casey's yet to stop. At the back there, who was that going at it? Bobby, no, it's DJ and Ento. DJ might want to take an out of Ruben's, but can just sit in the back of Ruben's teammate and maybe just try and get the undercut onto him or get the jump come the second stop. NRT, Bobby and Devil are going at it, it seems. They were swapping places prematurely. Brian and Ento, what's going on there? DJ's falling off the back a bit, maybe he's doing a bit of fuel saving. JD's now moving into 9th. Casey going extremely long. Casey potentially trying to one-stop here. This really hasn't worked out for Casey, but I don't know why it's going so long. This is the sort of thing we saw from Devil in Maggiore. And it really didn't work out in the sense that both times he ran out of fuel in both stints. And maybe Casey's trying to do the same. And why would you copy the strategy? Copy strategy really doesn't work. If you can see there, the tyres of Casey, they're so poorly damaged now. They are over halfway, especially those fronts. But he's going to find himself struggling for these laps, and everyone's going to be gaining a lot of time in a space of a sector. Philo, 1.5 seconds, and that's just in a sector. His last lap was a 1:59. You can see it 2 minutes on the board there, compared to Philo's a 1:54. 10 seconds in 2 laps is really not a good strategy. Philo easily passed Casey. Casey seemed to back off there as well. Knows it's not his fight. But I don't know what's up with Casey and the strategy. Casey and Ruben yet to pit. Ruben, because of the early antics behind DJ, he will definitely be doing a one-stop or something along those lines. Ruben, you little show-off, please be nice. Casey into the pits then for the first time. 25 minutes into this race as he red-lighted it. Can't understand why I'd go so long though. Why didn't he just stick to what worked yesterday in Div 2? God knows, but being different for the sake of being different is not always a good excuse, as he's now finding himself losing out. He will fall down the order, he'll probably go and put the mediums on. And if you're going to try and go longer, maybe Casey goes for a short stint, why are people short stinting the mediums and long stinting the softs? The mediums are made to go longer and the softs are meant to be quicker and short and go shorter. So why are we reversing them? If you're going to go long, if you're going to go long, do it on the mediums, because you'll have more pace in them for longer. People, I don't know why people are doing that. If that is actually their plan and they do go short on mediums, the mediums aren't that bad. If you don't have the grip, you shouldn't be trying to go long in the first place. Cold tyres through turn 2 by Casey. He's the 12th driver, so it's Ruben and someone else. Who hasn't used it? Is it Brian? It's not Brian. I was trying to think, I forgot. Ruben into the pits then. Vaslincock. He's also trying to go as long as possible, but he started on the mediums whilst going long. A bit of a strategy idea from a commentator. If you're going to go long and you're going to attempt to go long, please use the mediums. If you're going to go, if your strategy idea is, say, do a 25 minute, then a 15 minute, and then a 20 minute, do the 25 minute on the mediums. Or if you're scared you're not going to have a grip at the start and get swamped, don't do the 25 minute first. Do the 15 minute first, then have the undercut, then go long in the middle stint. That seems to be the best idea. If you do a 15 minute first stint on softs and absolutely blast it, because at the start you're going to have a bit of a short stint because you're using up more rubber. Because you're racing more at the start, you're getting your elbows out a bit more as Ruben comes out in a bit of traffic there onto the mediums, so he's used both sets of tyres and it's just Vaslincock, who is also yet to pit. So a good strategy idea, and team Div 3 if you're watching, Div 2 if you're watching, anyone who's watching, please take a note out of this. Please have a look into doing this. It's really annoying watching people do this. If you're going to try and go for that sort of 15, 25 minute or 20 minute instead of doing the 20, 20, 20, do the 15 minute on softs first. Don't do it on mediums. Don't just go, oh, let's get the slower tyre out of the way. Use the mediums have a distinct advantage that they'll last a lot longer. You can put in more consistent laps for longer. Ruben, look, you can see that consistent 54s. On mediums, he'd be able to do consistent 55s, 56s maybe. It's better than doing consistent 59s on softs because they're 25 minutes old. Do the 15 minute stint first. Why the short stint first? Well, a lot of people don't want to start on the mediums first. Because you could say do the 25 minute medium stint first, but people won't want to do that because you won't have as much grip at the start and you're going to lose a lot of track position. Fair enough. Do a short stint on the mediums. You're going to be burning out a lot of rubber anyway. In that first stint, that's normally the raciest stint when everyone is battling out, especially down towards turn 1. You want the most grip possible, and you're not really focusing on fuel and tyre saving. You're getting your elbows out a bit more. It's a lot more racier. There's a lot more going on. So that tyre will fall off a bit quicker, say in the final stint, where you will probably just have clean air and can be a bit more conservative. So do the 15 minutes one first. Don't go long for 25 minutes, so you can then finish on the quicker tyre. I don't know why people are doing 25 minutes on softs. Softs aren't made to go 25 minutes. They're made to go around about 20 minutes. The mediums can go 35 minutes, maybe 40. We've seen it done before. For Christ's sake, double stint a pair of hards if you're really that low. The hards, depending on the track, they might have enough grip. You might be able to get your elbows out of it. Don't, you know, throw your race away because of it. Anyway, Philo's actually only 2 seconds off the back of Ruben as well. So Ruben, this is an interesting predicament here. Ruben will be going to the end. Philo's got his mediums off already as well. So Philo's now going to the end on 2 softs. Looking at his fuel though, he's going to be going a bit longer on the second stint. He's on the fuel a bit here, but Ruben's... Look, actually, let's have a quick look. How much fuel is Ruben putting? No, Ruben... Okay, I jumped for God. Ruben's pitting at 20 minutes. But we're now going to see a nice bit of a dogfight here. If someone gets this information to Philo pits. Philo can try and get a bit of an undercut by looking at his fuel. He will have to undercut a bit. Ruben won't. Or Philo can just sit in the back, do a bit of fuel saving, and just copy what Ruben does. Don't go for the overtake. And if Ruben is probably going to be doing a 10-minute stint on the mediums. Now, Ruben is an outlier to what I've just said because Ruben can take the softs 30 minutes. We know he can. He's done it before. Many times. But Philo now should just sit in the slipstream, do a bit of fuel saving, and if Ruben pits, Philo then pits to block the undercut, and if he runs out of fuel, then you box in. But with how little fuel Philo's got now, and he's nowhere near the pit window, he's got to try and itch us out as long as possible. Ruben's not one stopping. We can see that by his fuel he's going to be pitting around about the 20-minute mark with everyone else, and then doing the big Ruben jump the gun strategy that Ruben likes to do. If he full tanked it and was one stopping, Philo would be a long way ahead, and that's information that Ruben's read well. He doesn't actually have the gap to try and full tank it and then have the clean air anyway, to try and pull a one stop. Bit slidey there as well by Philo. Vaslincock has he used both sets. Well done, Vassal. Blue flags are out though. As that is his teammate approaching him, I believe. That's the reason why the blue flags there are all OTBC. Getting run a bit wide. Bobby on his debut, he's running in third. Ento's fallen down the order. 10 seconds off second place. Then Devil, he's running in fourth. Devil's really falling off here. He's going to have a solid strategy here now in this middle stint. He's gone to the final stint, try and make his way up. But now, depending on what Philo does, Philo now, it's a game of chess. He's 1.6 seconds on merit. It's not like Ruben's yet to pit, or it's not like Philo's yet to pit. On merit, this is where Philo is. And it's going to be an interesting one to see how this plays out. Because they can be smart here and just sit behind Ruben. You can get an undercut on Ruben. If you can come out ahead of Ruben, you can then start battling Ruben at the end, which would be nice because we've never really seen Ruben battle. Ruben normally just gets the job done. He wins it in the pit lane, which is a honourable way to win an endurance race. Endurance race is very much a chess match as much as it is a sprint race. You have to use the range. JD's into the pits quite early than you would expect. So, an array of strategies being shown here at the Nurburgring. And I think he's the first to pit for his second stint. But 1.6 seconds is the gap to the leader then. Wouldn't it be interesting if the Nissan of all cars is the car to beat Ruben? Wouldn't it be interesting if Godzilla, the Nissan GTR, the 2015 Bathurst 12-hour winner, was a car to beat Ruben? I don't see it happening. Ruben's also on the mediums, and Ruben isn't one stopping, so Ruben will go on to the softs, and Ruben will have a 20-minute stint on the softs. Maybe a bit long, maybe a bit less. Philo, though, all credit to him, whilst gaining on Ruben. Ruben saving his fuel quite nicely, so Ruben may be going with 10 minutes to go here. Now, with that information that Ruben is fuel saving a bit, maybe Ruben's trying to entice Philo to come past him. If Ruben is doing that, well, once Bobby gets close to the back of him, pit the lap, you make contact. Get the undercut in, because Ruben's fuel saving, you can see with his fuel, he's not max revving 6, so he's not in first down the main straight. So, Philo then, he'll be in this lap, I can see, looking at how it's going to go with the red light. Ruben, however, is not making it to the end, but with about 10 minutes to go, we could be seeing Ruben pit. So now Philo's got 12, and around about 22-minute stint on softs. So it's going to be softs, and he's going to have a 12-minute window to try and close the gap down to Ruben, as Philo's now having to fuel save a bit. It seems as he's approaching the end, and he's now losing a bit of fuel, and maybe Ruben's actually put his foot down. As we can see, he's burning a bit more fuel. You can see it goes down a bit more than it normally does in Ruben, sort of. Ruben's fuel goes down in slow motion. But anyway, Ruben managing his fuel nicely so far. Philo falling off the back a bit, but I can almost guarantee in this lap for Philo, don't try and risk it. Don't force yourself into a fuel save. Don't go, oh, I need to go a bit longer. Just 1.8 seconds is definitely doable with an undercut. Ruben consistently, last lap, a 1:54.9. A couple of attempts a lap, it's possible. There we go, red light. Philo, please don't go again. Pit this lap for me, buddy. I hate you. Why do people do this? That red light means you have a lap of fuel remaining, or less than a lap of fuel. So why do people try and get another lap of fuel when the red light means you ain't got enough fuel to last you a lap? Bobby into the pits with 3% of fuel, so Philo's not really in a window, not really in an undercut window, unless Bobby absolutely has a Godzilla-like lap, where he will gain 12 seconds in an undercut. It's unlikely, but Philo's now going to lose massive amount of time to Ruben. I don't get this. You're in the fight for the win, so you're going to try and hit your fuel as long as possible, where he's lost 4 tenths in the first sector to him because he's having to fuel save a bit more. And it's quite evident that these guys don't know where to fuel save where Ruben does. Because it's not just a case of you stick it into lean. Ruben fuel saves effectively. It isn't just fuel save, it's effective fuel saving. And he's lost another 2 tenths just down the street. This isn't how you fuel save properly. He's got a minute. That little bit of fuel's got to last him a minute. It's probably going to happen. But at what cost? You've lost another half a second. Why are you wasting this much time? Just get in, have an undercut. Because now Ruben might respond and pit. Because Ruben's got enough fuel that he can now pit this lap, and he will have a 10-second gap. And this might be what Ruben does. Ruben knows when Philo will pit, Ruben will then pit and gain all the time because he's got a lot more fuel. That, in the pit lane, is about 5 seconds extra fuel. And Ruben will enjoy having that gap of extra fuel. He does continue, and you can see in the bottom right screen, Philo's into the pit lane. Eventually getting to a gap down to about 1.6 seconds. That's the closest thing I've seen to a mistake by Ruben, that slight drift. You didn't even hear it, you just saw the car slide a bit. Ento's got himself into 4th, still got a bit of a penalty to get gone, but not much. He's got himself past DJ. Bobby has pitted though. Well, these two come out in comparison to Philo. Where will Devil come out? Devil's coming around the final turn. Philo's only just pulled in. I do apologise for that bright light. If anyone who is sensitive to light saw that, I do apologise. I don't know why the game's done that so bright. 2 tenths left on the penalty though for Philo, so he has worked it down quite nicely. DJ tucked into the back of Ento's. Both compare fuel. DJ red lighted it, so he's really not learning by sticking into the back of people. Brian into the pits then with 9% of fuel. And Philo has come out in 5th. He's 36 seconds behind Ruben. Now he's going to have an absolute flyer of an outlap, and Ruben may think to burn a bit more fuel here. Let's see what the split time is at the end of Sector 2. This will give us an idea what Ruben's doing. 8 tenths off his fastest lap, so I'm guessing he's still doing a bit of fuel saving. So is Ruben going to try and go as long as possible here? Which does risk him actually potentially getting jumped in an undercut, but by how much? It will mean though, when he does it, I can't call it. We're going to have to monitor the gap of Philo. Philo for 20 minutes now, he didn't take full fuel. Philo might be digging himself a grave here by the amount of fuel he takes, because unless he actually will manage it perfectly, it's going to be a close one. He is gaining on Ruben though. Ruben's still going to be fuel saving as that's a cone in the middle. Nice. Anyway, Ruben's still bridging a gap to Devil, but it's Philo we need to concentrate on. Philo's getting that gap down, and if he can catch up to DJ and Ento, maybe there's a bit of a benefit if he can catch up just before they pit and get a bit of a toe off of them. Even if it's just for half a second, that will be really beneficial for him. Up towards turn 15, into the pits though, Ento and DJ. As they have to avoid that cone. Someone's coming to the pit lane and hit that. I think it's Brian. My money's on it is Brian. I'm not just saying it's to Brian because Brian was the last person we saw go into the pits. When Philo went into the pits, it was there. When Brian went in, then Brian pitted, and then when the next pit stop happened, or when Ruben came through the next time round, it wasn't there. So my money's on Brian, and it's also because he's done it earlier in the race. I think in qualifying he did it. So Philo took a second out of him that lap. Tim's into the pits as well. Softs for Ento. DJ taking a lot more fuel, and he's going to be a few seconds back, so that amount of fuel he's taking has cost him big time. And the way Philo's going, oh, there's a bit of a hairy moment there by the British driver. The way he's burning up his fuel, he's taken an eighth of his tank, which doesn't seem like much, but it's half of one of those little bars. And one of those little bars is a quarter. 2 minutes worth of fuel in on the lap. I'm not sure Philo will have enough fuel here. And Ruben's also bridged a bit of a gap there because of that mistake. Now Ruben will be going long, but he will then take a sliver of fuel in the final stint. So so Philo really, if he wants to challenge for the win, he's now going to have to gain a good couple. He's going to have to get at least a second lap, and a second lap out of Ruben's not really possible. Devil into the pits, so this will allow Philo to go through, and Bobby as well maybe. Where's Bobby coming up to? Bob's coming to turn 12. So through turn 12 we go. It's a beautiful M6 livery. On that, yeah, B&R's done, whoever makes deliveries at B&R, I think it's Brian's done a solid job there on the M6, gets a bit more of his penalty out through turn 15 down towards turn 1. Fuel going into the car of Devil, but his tank's empty, but he won't be taking full fuel, only about 3/4. If that, out he comes, yep, round about there. Now where is Bobby? Bobby's down at turn 1 and Bobby is through. But Bobby's tyres quite worn in. It pitted a couple of laps ago, and Devil has a 5-second gap to try and close down. So a podium's is still on the cards for Devil, but being beaten by 2 newcomers on their debut, Bobby and Philo. Ooh. Devil being beaten by 2 people, 2 guys that are on their debut, being beaten by them. Devil really needs to be getting consistent seconds. It's damage limitation, and Ruben is just walking all over him. Devil needs to up his game here. His strategy is what he's been doing, especially at Maggiore. He's really digging himself a hole, and I know he's got to try doing different stuff, but what he's trying seems like he's not testing, and he seems less enthusiastic than he did, say, season 1. And he's not really put up a fight. I mean, he took pole at Suzuka, but that is the best thing he's done this season, in my opinion. That sounds quite rude, but he took pole at Suzuka and he just fell off. Suzuka pole, we all thought that it'd be that Devil will be able to take the fight to Ruben properly. So he didn't just take pole, he took by a fair margin. Nope, he completely botched the strategy. Ruben seemed quite happy in second because he just let Devil lead him. Philo, though, that's something to notice. Philo with fastest lap. That's something to keep your eye out for. Last lap then. Philo's flying, but with not enough fuel. That is not enough fuel to last him to the end, but a 1:53.3 is fastest lap. So on debut, taking fastest lap from Ruben, an achievement. Ruben in this lap, he's burnt out the rest of his fuel, and he's actually very close to running out of fuel. Wouldn't it be funny if Ruben ran out of fuel down at turn 8? So that'd be a nice crawl, and Ruben wouldn't do that. Ruben manages the fuel so well. He's not going to take in much fuel. Those Pirellis are treaded. They're not slicks. So whoever's done the game design for the Pirellis, the Pirelli GT tyres are treaded. No, actually that's just the game, I'm gonna say. As I spill Lucozade on me. Anyway, as I spill fuel on myself, Ruben gets some fuel into his car, and it's looking... I would say looking close. Where is Philo down towards turn 1? What's the gap? It's going to be about... The gap then, 2.8 seconds. So Philo really didn't maximise for undercutting Ruben. The latest this car will be on fresh soft. Say goodbye to your fastest lap, Philo, I must say now. For the last 12.5 minutes, Ruben will be off into the distance. A podium on debut, though no less, and Philo's actually the guy that... Philo is the closest, is the person that's been the closest to Ruben this season so far, I must say. With this sort of performance, being 2 seconds off in the second stint and 4 seconds off in the third stint, it's the closest we've seen anyone be to Ruben. Maybe Devil at Bathurst, but other than that, nah. He's the fastest first sector though, we just noticed there by Devil. So Devil's still... They were still able to put in purple sectors. DJ not far behind. Ento will have a bit of traffic as well there. Vaseline Cott. That's JD in the background. Cam O'Brien in the points paying positions. Casey, where's he? Why is Casey down in 12? What's happened? Casey's fallen right out of the points. Dino's up into 9th. So after whatever happened at turn 1, his last lap was his best lap, and he's going to try and hunt down JD in the final 11.5 minutes. Looks like someone's taken to doing a bit of graffiti on the front of Dino's car there. Follows the same pattern though around that's on the side. Very artistic style there for the ART car. Has a lot better than Casey's ART. Let's have a look at Casey's ART down in 12th. Still nice, but it looks like someone's just dumped a can of paint on it. Or depending on how dirty your mind is, well, you know where that one's going. Hint, hint, Phil. Hint, hint, Cam. I know you two are probably watching. Phil might be at work, but I can almost guarantee that Cam West is watching. Anyway, enough on the ART liveries. OTBC, nearly 4 minutes off the lead. So he's really not had a fun day today. A 2:06. There's a few 2:06s on there, but 2:36. He's actually just spin somewhere, so that may be a pit lap. But I can't guarantee. He's 5 seconds off his best, so he's really struggling. OTBC is really struggling. I mean, down the straight, he's lost 2 seconds to the lead. How are you losing 2 seconds on the straight? Is it the setup? Is it the car? OTBC, after having a solid performance out in Suzuka, he had a good run out in Bathurst. I'm not sure if he actually scored any points in Bathurst, but he still had a solid drive in Bathurst nonetheless, with a nice little battle going on. He's really struggling today. He's 43 seconds off Vaseline Cock, who's normally the back marker. Be interesting to see where Vaseline Cock actually is come next season when he's able to have a different car. Casey into the pits then. I can't understand why. He's on a fuel to last him to the end, so I can't imagine why he's done that. Philo, 21 seconds is the gap between him and Bobby, and it looks like he's now taken to fuel saving. The gap free, the gap staying around about the same though. Ruben and Bobby quite close on fuel. Bobby probably needs to find about 2 minutes of fuel in him to make it safe to the end, but it'll be a nice podium for De Shadheim Racing. Philo is driving for Santos now, as Santos has bailed until season 3. I think he might have work or school related problems. I'm not sure, but Santos, we will miss you. Can't wait to see you next season. Bobby, he's Devil's got himself within a second. He's within slipstream range. Slipstream range is like DRS range, except there's no flap at the back, and slipstream is all natural. Both with penalties. Bobby just picking up a half-second penalty for track limits there. So Bobby then will have to do a bit of work, especially down towards turn number 8 here. Devil might fancy a move down at the Dunlop curve. He's close. He's going to look for it. He's going to pull out. He votes for the gap. It's a bit of a late move there. They bump wheels a bit, but Bobby will take the time to get a bit of his penalty out and just save himself a bit there. But Bobby's got a good run, though, out of the hairpin up towards the Schumacher S's, and through turn 9 and 10 we go. The next overtaking spot is a good run up there, but you can't follow really through Schumacher S's. Dirty air's not the best. So, you know, you need to be a bit further back to look for a move into turn 11 if you're going through the Schumacher S's. Dirty air's a big problem through there for following, but down towards the chicane is a bit further back, so we'll be able to get more of an effect from the slipstream. Being directly onto it is not as much. He's going to pull to the inside line. He's got a good run. He's going to the inside line down towards the chicane. He's going to have to back in, though. Could have gone for a bit of a lunge there. Maybe he's waiting for turn 1. Bobby still trying to find a podium on his debut, and this will really benefit Ruben if Devil finishes outside the podium here. A bit more of his penalty taken off. Down towards turn 1 then. This is a race, or this battle here could actually be won on the penalty. Bobby going for a bit of a late lunge there. He's going to have to back out of it, slam onto the brakes, and could have taken that time to get more of his penalty out. 5 seconds is a gap. But Philo now, he's lost out, so Philo's really having to fuel save a bit. But with these two squabbling, Philo can take the time to maybe think about pitting and being safe towards the end. Bobby a bit more fuel than Devil, but Devil's going to be trying to use that little less fuel he's got. He's got the lighter car, it's going to be more nimble, and he's going to just try and pull away then. Especially with Bobby making mistakes after he was a bit cautious through turn 4. That's where he got the penalty last time. So Bobby's not going to be close enough to look for a move down at turn 8 where Devil made the move last time. 6 minutes to go. Ruben leads from Philo and Devil, but the final podium spot is definitely not decided yet. Philo is going to have to do a bit more fuel saving, but he should be safe if he can manage the fuel nicely and safely to the end. But that will probably give the win to Ruben, unless Ruben decides to take a nice trip and have a date with Barrier. It's not a person you really want to have a date with. It's not the ideal person you'll want to tango with, Mr. Barrier. Bobby doesn't seem to really have the pace. Yellow flag's up ahead. What's gone on here? Philo's safe. It's one of the back markers. Casey, did you have a moment, my friend? Maybe he did. Poor Casey still can't get points in Div 1. And it's quite funny that the old joke, oh, Bobby picking up a second penalty there. Not a second penalty, a 1 second penalty. That will be from corner cutting at the chicane. And he's going to have to really take that down if he wants a chance at a podium. Or you can just do the Mr. Mount strategy with less of the DNF and get past and blitz your way forward. But it's become a bit of a joke. Last season it was a bit of a joke, but when's Casey going to get his first podium? And now the joke is, when's Casey going to get his first point? It's a real shame. He got points in Div 2, but still lacking the points in Div 1, which is really not helping his cause over at ART Grand Prix. Or Apex Racing Team, not ART Grand Prix. ART Grand Prix is the Formula Juniors team. So that's F2, F3, F4, that team. If you are into that sort of stuff, which most of you probably are interested in some way in the F1 scene, as it's motorsport. Bobby could just sit back and get a bit of his penalty off. Before he got the other penalty, he should really have just got most of it off bit by bit and just in the slipstream, especially down into the final chicane, get it off, and then down into the slipstream and down at turn 1. He'll gain it all back again, and then sort of rinse and repeat with the same sort of idea. Because that's how powerful the slipstream is, with a lot of straights down here at the Nurburgring. Doesn't seem to be doing that though. He could have done that and just sat in the back of Devil. Maybe Devil could have got his penalty off, but when it tucks himself back in, Devil will then have to start thinking about bridging the half-second gap. But being tucked into the slipstream, that's Bobby could really have got an advantage. And has he increased his penalty? Yes, he has. That's another half-second off. So Bobby really on the limit now. 1.6 seconds. Bobby's really got to be cautious of the track limits as he's really pushing it to its limits. Philo 8.6 seconds back now from Ruben. With about 2 laps to go, Van. Being run-up to Ruben, though, is no mean feat at all. It's nothing to be ashamed of. Especially not here. It's not been a day for the Germans, though. The Germans at their home... It's not been a weekend for the Germans. The Germans at their home race really not had the luck they would have expected. Motorsport West haven't had the turnout they would have liked. UMF haven't had the turnout they would have liked. JD, that's Philo finally red lighting it, so Philo might have to come into the pits for one last bit of fuel. If he doesn't pit now, he could actually find himself. Oh, that was nearly Philo's race going down the gutter. 23 seconds is the margin. A lap in 6th. Philo is going to be... Philo's going to have an absolute worldie of a fuel saving lap here. 23 seconds is the gap. He's now got to bring it home and not run out of fuel as the red light's on that car. Ruben as well, red light. Ruben though has the gap, and I'm sure he's aware of Philo's fuel as well. Devil now bridging a 2.5 second gap, as he's also red lighted it. Bobby red lighted it. Everyone seemingly getting their fuel not either perfect or having to do a bit of fuel saving on the final laps. That's Bobby as well, who... Oh, sorry, DJ will be close to red light. Ento's got the most fuel out of the top 6. Brian, he will be able to make it to the end, it seems. Dino as well. Dino, what a comeback drive this will be. He was at the back. He was at the back after turn 4. Sorry. He was at the back after turn 4, seemingly looking like he had a bit of a mistake. Or he had an incident at turn 1. Started 6th or 7th, I believe. Now was then moved down to 14th. Now he's going to be looking to score some points. He's got enough fuel to the end. Tim, he's always gaining positions in the race compared to where he qualified. It seems like starting on those mediums is actually more beneficial than people think. If people don't want to start on the mediums because they feel like they're going to lose track position, well, Tim got a podium from starting 8th, or maybe even it was 9th, started on the mediums, and then he was fine. Red light for Tim. Ruben though's coming up to the final chicane. This has been a nice win for him. Round the final turn, Ruben, 5 from 5, still undefeated in GTEL, will cross the line to win round 5 of GTEL Division 1 Championship. Philo on debut, just about to run out of fuel. He will take 2nd on debut. What a race for him. He'll be happy with that. And Devil, a comfortable enough margin, he'll be able to get rid of the rest of his penalty. And as the season's over halfway done, Devil's going to have an absolute worldie of a final half here. And Ruben's going to have an absolute stink of it to have any sort of chance. Round the final turn, Devil rounds out the podium. He will take 3rd here at the Nurburgring. Bobby on debut. He will come across the line, get rid of the rest of his penalty, and he will take 4th. That's Casey doing some donuts. Don't know what he's doing. Ento started 8th. He's gained solid amounts of positions here. He will take 5th. He should be happy with that compared to where he's qualified. DJ, after a solid race last week, will finish 6th. Round the final turn, or up towards the final turn then for Brian. Everyone seemingly managing their fuel nicely, not timing it great, because a lot of people had to stick it into lower fuel modes. Because getting your fuel right means you take it all the way. It means you can last in 1st all the way and you nail it perfectly. They start to do a bit of fuel saving. Brian will take some points home for BNR. He'll be off with that. And Dino will take the last point for ART. He's going to be happy with that one, especially after the lap 1 instance. We'll have to try and find out what happened with him. Tim's going to get a bit of... We'll get some donuts as soon as we see a lot of people doing it. Celebrating, coming in the bog standard last. Tim will take 9th. He'll get no points, and just lighting the rears up a bit there for everyone to see. And then Vasilinkov will round out the line then. And across he comes. Last of the finishes, confirmation of results, and Ruben wins from Philo and JM Devil. Congratulations, Ruben, you're still undefeated. Spa Season 1, Round 4 of Season 1. I do believe this is his 10th win in GTL. Spa! Right, so let's go for it. Spa Season 1, Nurburgring Season 1, Laguna Seca Season 1, Interlagos Season 1, Le Mans Season 1. Bathurst Season 2. Fuji Season 2, Suzuka Season 2, Maggiore Season 2. Congratulations, Ruben, you now have 10 wins in GTEL. Confirmation of the results, and maybe protests. So the unofficial results: Ruben wins, followed by Philo. Philo after having a brilliant debut, coming in second. JM Devil third. A bit of damage limitation after he got past Bobby in the closing laps. Bobby on debut fourth, solid result from him, and Tolls will be bringing home a decent amount of points for SVV to help them in the team championship. As much as Ruben is doing, it's every little helps. DJ filling in for Mr. Soccer at Motorsport West. He will come home in 6th and bring home 4 points to them, bringing in the points that the other main drivers are struggling to bring, but they won't complain as long as the team's scoring points. Kane O'Brien and Dynarod, same sort of topic as DJ, bringing in points for a team that really needs it right now. Tim, he will come 9th. Started 11th, he'll be happy that he gained some positions. Solid race from Online JD, Online Croiser, Casey, Vasilinkov, TBC, round out the grid, or round out the results with none of them scoring points. And all of them are lapped down as well. I've been in, and thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next week over at Spa. It's where? It's 8 PM, Friday, British summertime.